So the last thing we want to discuss is which quadrants sine and cosine are positive and negative. To do that, remember the following. So let's write this down. Okay, the sine function measures up-down movement, so vertical movement, and it is the y coordinate, or the y value, of a point. So if sine measures the y value, if you were to look at a point here in quadrant number 1, its height value, which is this over here, is going to be a positive number because we're going up. So sine in quadrant 1 is going to be positive. Let's continue dealing with sine, and then we'll go to cosine. So let's look at quadrant 2. So let's pick a point. We'll put it up here this time. That point has an x and a y value. The y value is the sine of the angle. So this y value is the same thing as the sine of the angle. So if I drew the angle in here, like this, okay, this angle has a sine value of this number right here, and that is obviously a positive value because the y value of this point is positive since we're moving upward. So this is also positive. But what about down in quadrant 3? Well, in quadrant 3, if you pick a point, you'll notice that its y value is negative. Let's put a plus up here. So since we're heading down, the y value is negative, and so sine is negative in quadrant 3. So any angle that ends up in quadrant number 3 over here will have a negative sine value. Likewise, if we end up in quadrant 4, the y coordinate is negative, so sine is also negative in quadrant 4. Cosine is the x value. So the x value of this point is positive because we're moving to the right. So in quadrant 1, cosine is positive. However, in quadrant 2, let's take this point again right here, we had to move to the left. So its x value is negative. So cosine will be negative for any angle that's in quadrant 2. Quadrant 3, the same thing. We're moving to the left. So this point right here has a negative cosine value, and so will any other point in quadrant 3. And in quadrant 4, we're moving back to the right. So this will be a positive. So cosine will be positive in quadrant 4. Notice that sine and cosine are the same sign in both quadrants 1 and quadrants 3. Otherwise, they're opposite. So quadrants 2 and 4, they'll have different sine values.